Only by first fully connecting with ourselves can we then fully connect with others. When we lose our sense of personal power, we will always feel helpless and continue to play out roles of victim mentality in all of our relationships. In the same way, when we lose our sense of self-trust, we will find it very difficult to trust others, even the people we love and care about most. If you find yourself continuously feeling lost within a relationship, feeling insecure, feeling perpetually hurt and abandoned within love or romance, this could be a sign that you actually have a learned habit of self-abandonment, of emotionally abandoning yourself, your own needs and desires within your life. And I say this is learned self-abandonment because very often these unconscious patterns of insecurity, of helplessness, of losing ourselves in a relationship with another person is simply our inner child continuing to play out the rules and roles that it learned in youth, that we learned when we were younger. Usually these patterns are learned from our family dynamics and specifically our relationship with our parents. If we had parents who were extremely strict, who were perhaps even authoritarian, who emotionally were not fully available to us or who were really harsh with us, in some sense, they were crossing our energetic boundaries, forcing their own rules and regulations upon us until we could no longer hear our own voice. Our decisions were forcibly made for us for so long that when it came time to be an adult and to begin making our own decisions for ourselves and our lives, we found it difficult to make these essential, important, and empowering decisions because we had this lingering fear, this energy wound in our solar plexus chakra coming from childhood, a childhood in which we weren't allowed to make our own decisions for ourselves and our life, and therefore learned to rely upon others to decide everything about us for us. We learned that if you love someone, you let them control you, you let them overtake you, that love should dominate every aspect and area of your life. We may be the kind of people that even fear romantic relationships for this very reason, for fear of losing ourself altogether in the loving gaze of this other person, simply because we don't know how to break that very deeply seated habit of losing our power, giving away our lives, ourselves, the things we care about most, sacrificing for the people we love without even realizing we're doing it until we reach the point where we feel like we have completely lost ourselves within this relationship. If you are the kind of person who has trouble making even the smallest decisions, if life decisions cause you to feel fear, anxiety, and uncertainty, if you find yourself wavering back and forth, unable to clearly hear your own inner voice, if you're the kind of person who is always asking everyone around you, what do you think I should do? How do you think I should handle this situation? Which college do you think I should go to? What job do you think would be best for me? Or alternatively, if you find yourself living or dying by the approval of those around you, especially those you care most about, and have difficulty contradicting the opinions of the people you care about, while still loving them, while still being in that relationship. It's kind of all or nothing. Either the person you're with agrees with you and supports you fully in everything, or you can't disagree without feeling a loss of love. This is most likely because that is how you learned to love. They say that all of our romantic relationships actually come from or originate from the love we experienced from our parents, that we will only allow ourselves to continue to experience the love that our parents gave to us, conditions and all. So if your parents made their love for you, their adoration for you, conditional on them controlling your life, then you may realize that in your own relationships, you either have control issues yourself, or you allow yourself to be controlled by the people that you care about and love. So where does this all come from? Because every dynamic that plays out in our lives, especially those patterns that just seem to play out over and over again on a loop, the reason we feel stuck in these patterns is because what we are actually stuck in is our own unawareness, our lack of awareness of unconscious patterns, of thought patterns, patterns of the ways in which energy flows within us and reflects in our subconscious thoughts, that then causes us to react in certain ways without knowing why. What we're really reacting to is the subconscious mind, is the energy. And specifically, we can conceptualize the subconscious mind as reflected in our energy body, and specifically in the 7 chakras. Today we are talking about the Solar Plexus Chakra specifically, which is located in the abdomen, above the belly button and below the breastbone. So if you've been connecting with a lot of the painful and challenging emotional experiences I've been describing, it's very likely you may be blocked in the Solar Plexus Chakra. The Solar Plexus is the seat of our personal power, confidence, willpower, individuality. It's how we separate ourselves, hear our own inner voice, and feel confident in ourselves, trust ourselves to act, to make decisions for ourselves in life, in love, and in everything else we may be faced with. When we have weak solar plexus energy, it's usually because when we were young and still energetically, emotionally dependent on our parents for support, our parents may have violated our solar plexus energy, damaged it in some way. Now, it might not necessarily be a parent. It could be some other formative experience, like an early romantic relationship. But if we have a damaged solar plexus energy, it means our emotional boundaries were violated. We were overpowered by someone else's energy. And therefore, we may find it very difficult to set our own emotional boundaries as adults, to make our own decisions, to stand up for ourselves, to feel powerful, and maintain our individuality within our relationships. And as a result, our relationships begin to suffer because we don't have that core of inner confidence, those strong boundaries. We in turn feel helpless, insecure in our relationships. We may even find ourselves running from relationships in which we are very happy and very much in love, all because we are so afraid of experiencing what we did as children, that feeling of being completely overpowered by someone else's energy, by afraid of completely losing control of ourselves, of sacrificing ourselves completely. And usually if you find yourself running away because of this, running away from relationships you desire to be in, but just feel so afraid of because of this experience of over self-sacrifice, It's time to take back your personal power. And the beautiful thing about healing the solar plexus is this is energy work. So often our ego tries to convince us to take some kind of radical action in the moment. And while there's always a time for action, we can create immense positive changes, energetic momentum in our lives without having to take those huge, radical, drastic actions. So if you find yourself thinking of just running away from the person you love out of fear, out of feeling like you're losing yourself, or if you find yourself on the other extreme, wanting to overreact, to act from a space of fear or insecurity to the person that you love the most, maybe the answer isn't the withdrawing or the overreaction, but actually in turning your attention back within yourself to your own energy, asking yourself if something is a pattern for you within relationships, why does this keep happening? And in this case, why do I keep losing myself within this relationship, feeling insecure within romantic relationships, feeling helpless, feeling emotionally abandoned? The answer in this case may be because of a damaged, blocked, or imbalanced solar plexus chakra. When the solar plexus chakra is imbalanced, we tend to feel either aggressive and overly dominating in our relationships, or we go the complete other direction and feel really weak and helpless and insecure, overly dependent emotionally. And the reason we feel this way is because we learned as children to rely on others for our sense of confidence, for our sense of self. So as adults connecting in romantic relationships, we continue to use our partners as a proxy when it comes to making a decision or even having a self-identity. We begin to rely so much on a romantic partner, just like we did on our parents, to provide our sense of identity for us instead of finding it within ourselves. On the physical side of things, because of course energetic symptoms always reflect in the physical, you may also find that you have had chronic stomach pain throughout your entire life. You've been to a doctor and no one can seem to explain it. I personally had this in my own life. You may find yourself getting stomach aches whenever it comes time to make a decision, feeling tension within your body, especially back tension, neck tension, feeling incapable of deciding for yourself, of speaking up for yourself, physically feeling uncomfortable or tense or in pain when it comes to speaking your truth, sharing yourself, exerting yourself in some way on your own. This is all a physical sign of having low levels of self-trust and self-confidence, which come from weak solar plexus energy. So how do we heal the solar plexus? Just like with all forms of energy work, there are many different ways to go about it. Specifically, I find with the solar plexus, one of the most powerful healing tools is simply to move your body. Physical exercise. This is because in the art or the practice of moving, exercising, doing yoga, going for a jog or a walk, you are feeling back into your own physical body, which allows you to separate yourself, your self-identity, from the identity of others, to establish a strong sense of self through getting back in touch with your own physical body. In addition to this, exercise helps to increase your sense of personal power and strength in a very literal, visible kind of way. The second way to heal your solar plexus chakra is through spoken affirmations. I find this is really powerful because through speaking, the act of speaking these affirmations, you are not only clearing and balancing the solar plexus, but also the throat chakra. And often these two chakras are very intertwined because when we struggle to have a sense of self-confidence and identity, we then also tend to have trouble expressing ourselves confidently through a strong throat chakra energy. So these two chakras really are best balanced when they are built up together. So I recommend speaking affirmations aloud to yourself whenever you find yourself faced with a difficult decision or feeling weak or disempowered. In your head, or for best results, aloud, say things to yourself like, I am enough, I am worthy, I have purpose. If you were someone who was ever berated verbally, either in a formative romantic relationship or by your parents, the result of this is you may have developed low self-confidence because of the identity someone else put on you through their words. So it's really important to do that inner child healing of speaking kindly to yourself, speaking confidently about yourself. Because your inner child, that unconscious self, is always observing and listening to everything you say about yourself, even when you're alone and even within your own thoughts. So resolve to only speak confidently, positively about yourself, even in your darkest moments. And thirdly, a powerful way to heal the solar plexus is simply to make small choices on a daily basis that create feelings of personal power within yourself that cause you to feel in control of your life. Psychologists have researched the effects of a locus of control on our overall enjoyment of life and positive mindset. And there's a direct positive correlation between having a stronger locus of control, meaning feeling more in control of yourself and your life, and having a more positive daily experience and thought environment, mindset. Again, your inner child is watching and listening all the time. Your unconscious self hears and sees everything you do and say, even when you're by yourself. So choose to do the little things that cause you to feel stronger, that cause you to feel more confident and more powerful. And lastly, my favorite tool for healing, balancing, and clearing the solar plexus chakra is through sound therapy combined with deep subconscious mind reprogramming. These two things are combined in a subliminal I have created for solar plexus chakra activation. This subliminal contains 4 binaural beat frequencies that resonate with the solar plexus chakra in its most healed, open, and activated state. Because of the theory of frequency follows response, by immersing yourself in these binaural beat frequencies, your chakra center literally begins to retune itself to its natural state because we are completely made up of sound and energy. This subliminal also contains 30 unconscious affirmations designed to bypass the conscious filter of your mind and deeply impact the subconscious, those deeper levels of your energy, and in this case, your solar plexus energy. Meditate with this subliminal every single morning and watch your vibration rise instantaneously, your confidence build day after day. Watch yourself become the most powerful, empowered, self-empowered version of yourself. This subliminal comes from my website, Sound and Soulful, and you can try it out completely free for 7 days when you create a 7-day free trial account on my website. The link to this solar plexus chakra activation subliminal is in the pinned comment under this video. Thank you so much for joining me here today in this podcast, for co-creating all of this information, all of these videos along with me. Subscribe to this channel if I resonate with you. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll talk to you again in the next podcast.